Hi, Tony Wheatley, Regional Manager at Kunes Automotive Group, Sauk Valley. Welcome to another episode of Kunes Car Convos. We're going to go pick up Kris Noble, the Executive Director for the Sauk Valley Chamber. We're going to go pick her up in this 2022 Jeep Wagoneer. So come on. So what do we got coming on? I heard there were some shops that just opened up recently.
So we have downtown Sterling, which is run by Sterling Main Street, does a lot of the downtown, and then there's an economic development group called Sterling Today, and their goal is to really support downtown, the 16 or 18 blocks that make up downtown Sterling. And so we have an incubator project that is kind of a very new thing, where if I'm an entrepreneur and I want to sell Tony's candles, but I don't know I can afford a storefront, I can rent this incubator space for way less money, and we're open throughout the summer and into the fall, and try and generate traffic to see if my product will sell locally. And then the vision for this project is then I will get a storefront.
Gotcha.
And come out and be an entrepreneur that's turned it into a storefront business, but
And then another person goes in
and another person goes in the incubator. So I think you sign a year lease, but you and I both know you can be really great at making a product, but if you don't understand the business and what it takes to run a business, which, you know, we have great support through the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center here out at Sauk Valley Community College, that if you've got an idea for a business and you want to sell a product or offer a service, this area has more than enough support. And even like large local businesses that are always willing to share information. So that's kind of happening downtown. Out on Lincoln Way, we have the mall is now a new owner. He's been almost a year in. Hobby Lobby just opened.
I know, that's exciting.
Yes.
Parking lot's full every single day.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
trying to revamp even some of these smaller businesses, revamp their leases, give them some information about what it really takes to keep a storefront open, and always trying to think outside the box. Like Bugsy's Arcade, which is out at the mall now, which is a family-friendly arcade, but oh, by the way, they do have a liquor license and they have a gambling area, which is closed. You can't get into it unless you go through a separate door. So just trying to reinvent what could be out at the mall. And the mall is trying to be really a lot more community-minded, having, you know, the different events out at the mall, so we could drive traffic there. And then what else is on Lincoln Way? Developer came in a couple of years ago and purchased the old Kmart building.
That's
now,
what the VA bought it. But
the VA is leasing from this
Gotcha.
Developer. He's out of Kansas City. I can't think of his name, but he was committed to making something happen. COVID happened, and is then just again in the past year and a half announced the development of Five Below, Marshalls, and Old Navy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then Shoe Sensation is moving over.
Well, they are.
Yes, from the other, one of the other strip malls. And at that strip mall, again, Harbor Freight came in, which is, again, I was excited. Harbor Freight has a very niche market, but they did their due diligence and said this is where we need to open. So I think in that realm of retail, you know, Sterling is in a growth mindset. The city is really working to be more business friendly. And we've had some really honest conversations with the city council and the city staff about...
And we have a new mayor, too.
Yeah, and a new mayor, you're right. So Diana Meridian, local gal, born and raised here, the first Latina mayor of Sterling. Understanding that to be seen as, whether you're your company, Kunes, which is really, really large, or a small mom and pop, they all need guidance and communication. We really stressed communication is critical for business owners so they know what to expect.
Yes.
So we're between what we do, what economic development does, really trying to get this area to be pro-growth Because you and I both know if we don't do it in rural Illinois, they're going to go somewhere else.
That is
If
correct.
we don't do it
Yes.
in the Sauk Valley and welcome these businesses, they'll go somewhere else. And rural America is dying. So we need to really stand up and say, we welcome you here. I think we've talked about,
You shouldn't have to drive an hour.
No.
Yeah, so.
and you should be able to get what you need, quality product, locally.
From local people.
Yeah. And in the whole space of, it was pre-COVID, it's like 2014, this marketing company came to town and said, you have the trifecta here. You offer quality education, quality healthcare, and green spaces. That's what people look for. Why are you not shouting that from the rooftops? So when a business decides to land here or plant here and then recruit employees, that's what your employees want, right? They want quality healthcare, quality education, and things to do.
Yes.
And so how do we market that? And let the people know that in the Sauk Valley, we have all that. We just need to do a better job of saying, this is really a great place to live and work and raise a family.
Yeah. Well, the Riverfront's nice.
Yeah, and you and I both know, like, the Riverfront's been around forever. And I think for people that don't know, so the Sterling area, and this is probably before you and I, when you and I relocated here, we were the hardware capital of the world. They did more hardware production here than anywhere else in the 50s and 60s. And again, as that industry changed, the Riverfront changed because these large manufacturers no longer needed the space, or they just downsized. So we have all this space at the Riverfront the city now owns.
Yeah, one of the big companies, I didn't mean to interrupt, though, just Wall Clippers. They've been a constant, they're a huge company, and they've never, steered away from Sterling, so that's huge.
They're a classic example
Yes,
of
that's
100 years old. They just celebrated their 100th year anniversary several years ago. Decided back 5 years ago to make their international headquarters here.
That's awesome.
They could have gone anywhere in the world. I think they're in 56 countries.
Wow.
And not just shipping product, with actual physical plants or operations around the world. I've seen a map. But you're right, and then their local employees and those they bring in. So those for manufacturing, and many of the other manufacturers, France Manufacturing or P&P has been in the Sauk Valley, just moved to the Sterling area. Mink, and so it's Sterling Steel Company, which is the old Sterling Steel Mill, but the mill is still a presence. They just don't employ the same numbers, and they're owned by a different company.
Yeah, we were talking about the river. I apologize. I just moved on.
Yeah, no, but that's a big part of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I think a big part of what we're going to see with homage to the riverfront is how do we honor our manufacturing roots. So, they're a mayor and city council named a riverfront commission.
Okay.
Two folks from Halo and Wall are steering that riverfront commission, so local citizens. And really getting the city council to commit not just funds, but a long-term vision for what does the riverfront look like. So working on a park right now, just approved $495,000 of playground equipment.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy when you look at how much playground equipment costs. Their vision for that is also an ice ribbon, a splash pad, an amphitheater.
Wow.
And then what are private partnerships? What do the naming rights to that look like? What do private investment look like? So the city is not on the hook, nor should they be, for investing in all of the development. And then a master developer has been named by the city council called Gorman and Company to really look at what needs to happen. What's the best use of those buildings? What would you like as community people, as business owners, what needs to be down there? Is it a hotel?
Condos.
Yes. Is it living?
There's
Is
not
it
living.
market
There's
rate
not any
living?
place. When I moved in here, there wasn't a lot of rentals. There wasn't a lot of. I was just trying to find there wasn't a lot of options. So.
And the rentals
housing.
that did exist, they were not great.
Right. For a family, that's good for a small family if you have one, but not for large families or multiple children or 3 or 4 bedrooms.
Yep. So this plan looks at 1 and 2 bedroom, but market rate with parking. So a nice 2 bedroom maybe an office space, quality market rate housing, not low income, not super high end. And then do condos come into the picture to some of those for retirees that want to snowbird?
Put a dock right there for your boat.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, and access to the river.
Yes.
Why would we not do that? What does a kayak launch look like? And again, there is a drop if you've been down at the river because of the mills or because of the manufacturing. There is like, what is that called? Like a cement wall. So it's not just right. You can't just jump in, or you could, but it's like a 14-foot drop.
Right.
But how do we make that so it's accessible to kayaking, fishing, whatever that looks like?
Yeah.
So I think, and I've been at the chamber since 2015. How long have you been in the area?
Since 2015.
Yeah. So just in our time here, there's been more movement, I think, in the past 2 years than there has in the previous 8.
That's awesome.
You know, and we have those conversations, and you have some of your staff that are part of those conversations. We talk about, you know, we started a millennial group. You know, how many of your employees are 18 to 40 and don't know how to get involved?
Right.
And so we asked them, you know, we would love, if you're going to live here, be part of those conversations. What does that age group, the Gen Zers, need, and the millennials to live here and work here? And asking them to be part of it. So we meet quarterly, and we've gotten some really good ideas about the dog park, for example.
Yes, yeah.
That all happened because our millennial group said, we're going to raise money, we're going to go to the park district, we're going to collaborate with the park district, and created a dog park in a period of about 1.5 years, and even into COVID. And so now the park district manages that. It's a fee for service. I think you pay $25 a year for your fob.
Yeah. That's nothing. Yeah. It's
right.
Just something to regulate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think those types of things, you know, if you look, the chamber, they're like, what's your role in all this? Because as a business, you're more successful if the community's thriving, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so how does any business say, I want to come into an area, but if it's depressed and not economically viable, what are your chances for success?
Right. What's in it for me as a business owner? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think and I learned that, you know, I came into the chamber with zero business background, but I think when we look at, and I don't care if you're a small mom and pop and you have 2 employees, or you're CGH and you have 1,300 employees, you all want the same thing. You want a community that's vibrant and to address some of those challenges. And part of that is being very pro-growth. So the Riverfront will be a big part of that, making it a destination for where we're located. You know, that it's a day trip where people can come, go to the Riverfront, and then look around and see what else is in the area. You know, and I think business owners will see the fruits of that in years to come, because it will be a day trip for not just Sterling Rock Falls, Dixon residents, but those people that live south, Peoria, the suburbs, the Quad Cities, Janesville. Where could I come for a day, use the Riverfront, and then see what else is here?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the vision.
That's the vision, yeah.
I hope it makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. No, it makes perfect. And you know, in a perfect world, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, you know, we always talk about small town nice, and people knowing each other. And I think that's a lot of what this community can bring to people. You know, our restaurants welcome you. There's a lot of choices. So how do we get that word out there as this is a really nice place to visit? And oh, by the way, if you're interested in moving here, what does that look like? And what types of jobs are available? And how do we make those connections?
Yeah, because we've had to, as a company, we've had to bring a lot of people in and move people in. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, right now, would you say it's much more an employees market? People can choose.
Absolutely.
And so, what's the carrot that's going to bring them here?
Right.
Right. Because I think for a lot of your employees, do you find it's more than just the job? It's the culture.
Oh, absolutely.
And the community.
Absolutely. What kind of churches? What kind of,
Yeah.
I'm going to raise my family. What do I have?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Things I want to do. So, I think there's a lot going on.
I think there's a lot going on as well. And
That was fun.
It was.
I talked the whole time.
That's okay. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.